Hello, my name is Jim Curley, and I'm here to report on the case problem New Kid on the Block, Block Square. My presentation today is the summary of a meeting that Ruth Wright, the CEO of the real estate firm in California, made to her associates and partners at their monthly staff meeting. Ruth believes that the real estate market, the commercial real estate market, globally will change over the next 5 years. And as a leader in that space, she wanted to prepare her firm for the future. During that meeting, Ruth rolled out a number of perspectives along with her colleagues by welcoming and offering perspective on the growth of their firm, having her CMO, Martha Jackson, present the new realities in commercial real estate, then asking Ann McCarthy, the CEO of a strategy firm used by Ruth to look at the future, to talk about innovation as a requirement for growth. Ruth then outlined a number of business models and then finally introduced the co-founder of Block Square to describe the strategic partnership that they and Ruth's firm would be undertaking. As a firm, Ruth described their position as significant and recognized leaders in their market space, with a strong portfolio of international clients that are unique investors holding great loyalty to their firm and really trusting in the recommendations that the agents and brokers presented. The firm's business model is recognized as best in class. Thinking about the future, though, is a different matter, as Ruth recognizes that the best time to change is when you are leading the race. And she believes that the commercial real estate business worldwide is in the sweet spot for disruption and transformation. During her presentation, Ruth suggested to her colleagues that they have both the capacity and the resources necessary to embrace and be leaders in the future, while they continue to offer a very focused perspective of winning for their clients. Martha Jackson outlined the current value of the global commercial real estate marketplace, suggesting that over $50 trillion of value can be found, and that overseas property markets are significant and growing. There's great demand for cross-border real estate transactions. In fact, she reported on a study, Global Property Store for Decentralized Title Registry, in which the numbers between 2009 and 2016 demonstrated a 334% increase of real estate transaction value, up to $340 billion. So clearly the appetite and opportunity, as Martha suggested, are both available to investors and ready around the world. Martha continued to outline the market trends that are in the favor for the firm. Global real estate assets need greater customer access, and recognized that more than half of the real estate assets represent more than half of the value of mainstream investments. She also mentioned that more consumers are interested in commercial real estate investing, and that the marketplace is ready for new and innovative ways to buy and sell commercial real estate. She suggested that the new players that are focused on our business will be both disruptive and transforming as they understand and enter into the commercial real estate space. Commercial real estate market is the target for very important and powerful forces. Advances in applied technology to the real estate business, significant investments by venture capital firms and innovative startup companies were just a few of the ideas that Martha outlined. And she finally suggested that they needed to join forces with the best of the best in the new reality. Annie McCarthy, the CEO of Future Strategies, compared the current old environment of commercial real estate with a new ecosystem that is emerging. She suggested that in the new ecosystem, there will be many players that are impacted and the number of players will be reduced, in fact, significantly. She suggested that in the new ecosystem, the complex processes of today will be streamlined and be very efficient. One of the topics she spent a lot of time on was the whole issue of international requirements and the fact that countries are starting to see the benefits of simplification and mutual agreement. She also outlined the significant reduction in costs that can be achieved through the use of technology. And as a result, she forecasted that the buyers available will be significantly expanded. And the new ecosystem will build a system to attract more and different kinds of buyers. She suggested to the audience that they should picture a new world, a world with easy access to global commercial real estate marketplace, expanded buyers ready and willing to invest, a reduced complexity in all steps of the transaction, faster processing time and improved quality, more focus on disrupting and transforming the way commercial real estate transactions will be carried out in the future. And all of this will be aided through centralized and secure access to information. She introduced a number of new technologies and terms that the firm associates and partners will have to become familiar with over the next few months. A new ecosystem, a single system to allow real estate investors to research, buy, pay for, and reliably secure and record ownership of a tokenized international property scheme. She described what blockchain was as a secure distributed ledger with use of databases, peer-to-peer transactions, transparency, specialized smart contracts, contracts that will provide benefits of consistency, automatic payments, transaction date follow-ups, and all kinds of other unique availability that's not there today. And then the real game changer, tokenization of real estate, meaning that investments can be made in the form of tokens, which will translate to units of property ownership. She quoted Stephen McKeon in outlining a new ecosystem of global assets, which highlights the fact that ownership claims of commercial buildings, corporate bonds, single-family residences will be all decentralized into a network on the same platform and supported by self-custody ownership claims in a single wallet. She described that assets are going to reference each other through contractual and interactions in an automated way. And a global pooled liquidity for all of these will become a set of assets all through a single interface. She suggested that blockchain distributed ledgers will enable tokenized and the tokenization of liquid assets such as real estate and fine art. And that these secure tokens, these security tokens will allow fractional ownership, partial ownership, where virtually anyone who wants to own can be a part of that real estate world. Even the most expensive piece of real estate that is tokenized can be divided into portions that anyone can afford. And the same goes for fine art and other asset classes previously restricted to the super wealthy. She then described through a graphic presented through a publication called Tokenism 2018, how this interaction will work. And while we don't have time in this presentation, I think this illustration is pretty clear about how it does work. Ruth Wright then suggested that she and Future Strategies had evaluated 3 potential partners, 2 of which were summarized on the next slide as firms that would enable global real estate market to be a unified purchase interface, a decentralized registry, would allow real estate assets to become more liquid. It would be, in these 2 firms, a revolutionary way to raise capital using blockchain technology, The bottom line that these two firms are trying to present a new world of buying real estate through blockchain, smart contracts, and the tokenization of real estate. But the real winner for Ruth was a company called BlockSquare. She believes that it's a company that will provide a revolution in real estate. And as their CEO suggested, their vision is to expand the scope of opportunity for real estate investments around the world using blockchain technologies and smart contracts, making transactions quicker, cheaper, and more secure, and introducing liquidity into a truly global marketplace. Blockchain's CEO presented a comprehensive outline of how his system works and how the relationship with Ruth's firm would begin to take form through the presence of global real estate markets around the world. Questions and answered were fielded about the strategy. Both the CEO of BlockSquare and Ruth fielded answers quite comfortably. And as a result, the associates became excited and began to understand the work ahead. Ruth finally began to assign teams of associates to take a deep dive into what might have happened, or what has to happen rather, to make sure that this is a reality. She introduced teams in terms of 5 different categories. First, New World Associate Education, where that team would be responsible for developing basic educational programs to teach associates about real estate tokenism, about blockchain, about how to gain commitment from the associates and for the associates. And that team is to be headed by the HR director. The BlockSquare IT integration team will look at the technology requirements, the IT integration to contracts, to payment systems, to property registration requirements, and to understand the BlockSquare integration requirements. That team is to be led by the company's CIO. BlockSquare Marketing Opportunity is a team responsible for defining how the firm might get started in the Slovakian marketplace where BlockSquare finds itself. They'll begin to identify commercial real estate partners in the market, potential buyers in the market, define the new value proposition for both parties, develop sales forecasts and tracking, and recommend lead sales associates who might lead the marketing and sales effort. All of this to be led by the chief marketing officer. The last 2 teams included market and regulatory team and the financial modeling team. The market and regulatory team is going to be looking at how this might impact regulation in California, how regulators will have to speed up, and if not, how can the firm help? This team will also be responsible for identifying key business stakeholders that might be impacted, legal teams, global and local appraisers, banking relationships, etc. The chief compliance officer for the firm will be leading that team. And finally, led by the chief financial officer, the financial modeling team will be responsible for addressing the financial implications, what the investments will be in development costs, projected operating expenses and operating income requirements to meet the standards of profit, various commission allocation strategies for brokers and agents. So there's lots of work to do in this 5-team assignment. And the meeting was concluded by answering a number of questions, and Ruth suggesting that the world is definitely going to change in the next 5 years. The technology solutions, the online solutions, and the expansion of the global market in commercial real estate is here to stay. The firms that embrace it early, take leadership roles, and as Ruth announced, take strategic positions by partnering with firms like BlockSquare will allow firms like Ruth's to sustain itself and grow substantially in the future. Thank you very much.